In the living in the private program, what type of benefits can a straw man still receive, i.e. Social Security, state med, et cetera? Technically, the birth certificate, which is what you're referring to, doesn't need to stop receiving anything. The Social Security income or what have you was earned. It was equity. The other elements of what is being drawn off the birth bond account could be construed as a benefit versus an equity earned payment. And so for me to be private, truly private, you shouldn't be relying specifically on governmental assistance. However, you can receive it as the beneficial interest on the BC. What we do is we switch you from being the surety and the trustee and the collateral position in those trusts. Each one of those that you named, or anything that you're taking on, whether it's disability, some type of health insurance benefit, whatever, retirement, you're taking it on as a trustee of the trust. They're the grantor, they're the beneficiary. We're flipping that position for you on the Social Security. We're flipping that position for you on the driver's license. We're flipping that position for you on these various different things where you say you're no longer holding those offices. But if you're going to continue receiving benefits, it could be construed that you're operating as the U.S. citizen. And so just kind of think through that, because those elements, like if you're worried about a charge instrument, because there are people out there, especially with 87 or whatever it is, new IRS agents coming out for whatever reason, that's like some unreal amount of agents for every single state. Like in California, if you were to subdivide based on the amount of people in California, that means we're going to receive 30,000 or 25,000 agents just for the state of California. So you got to ask yourself, what is it that's going to give the perception to a court that I'm tied into the system, whether as the equity interest or the beneficial interest, or where I'm the collateral, the surety, the trustee. And because none of the benefits need to stop, it's the applications that you're doing for them that need to be changed. It's the notice that you do to them that needs to be changed. But if it were me, I would take the Social Security and I would dump everything else, and I would privatize my own insurance. I would privatize everything, every subsidy, every benefit. I would not let the BC be the beneficial recipient of a payment, whether I'm the beneficial interest or whether I'm the trustee. I just wouldn't, because I don't want the tie. I can show that the contract that I have with the SSA was an instrument where I made a donation to, and I can show that therefore I received. Now you can do the same on your taxes as to why you're receiving some of these other interest or whatever payments on as a benefit interest holder for the registered organization, like for, you know, whether it's state medical or medical insurance through government, period. But me personally, I wouldn't. And it's the use that gives the implied interest of being the office holder of the person. And sometimes it's that use that would give the implied consent for an indictment, if that's what you're worried about. Remember, or a warrant. Remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to not be a party to, you know, unless you take over the BC in its entirety, and that's a whole nother conversation. But at that point, the BC may be pulled off of the SEC, or the BC may be quiet titled, or the BC may be one of those things. But we don't really know what's going to happen from a back end operation standpoint of how they're going to continue to fund your insurance, your Social Security income, all of that stuff, if you take complete and total control of the BC. But point, long-winded answer. Point is, none of that stuff has to stop. What needs to stop is how you're filling out the application. That needs to change. What needs to change is when you're going through the living in the private program, making sure that you're serving notice to these entities of the fact of who you are, what you've done, and now you're going to fill out a new application, a new format that protects you as a state citizen.